It's Monday morning. We're going live here at Fuzzy Vaughn's. I'm Tammy Vaughn. I have Fuzzy Vaughn's critters, rabbits, few llamas, sheep. Yeah, the whole kit and caboodle. So we're going to go live today, and I'm going to do a review on Twinkle's babies. She had two. We did a preview, I'd say about a month ago. And they're all grown up, almost. They're huge. Yeah. So we're going to do the review, and I think my husband and I are going to do a bunch of tattooing this week and get them all squared away. And then I'm going to share Sexy Dark Knight. He's a black boy. I think he's about 7, 8 months old. Oh, he's gorgeous. And he's got his baby coat on. I blew him out earlier this morning, so I think he's ready. He's past ready. He's starting to molt, so I need to get that coat off him right now. Just a few updates. If you were one of the lucky ones that chimed in earlier, if you're listening to my ramble to myself, but I'm kind of excited on the videos that I'm making. Yeah, shortly after this live, I'd say early afternoon, I'm going to publish my latest one on English Angoras versus giant Angoras. It's a throwdown. Which one? Yeah. And I touch a little bit about the other breeds, but not a lot. You know, my heart and soul is into the giants. And then I've been dabbling seriously with the English. They're just adorable. So that video will be coming out shortly after I finish up here. Yeah. And then the other thing I got to do is Bremerton show is this weekend. They have a triple show on Saturday. I want to go. I want to. I'm going to get my entries filled out today and see who's in show coat and who can go. And yeah, I got it. And then in April, the weekend of the 10th and 11th, we have a double Angora specialty show, Barg does, in Ridgefield, Washington. And I've also been asked to give a giant Angora presentation at their judges conference. So that's kind of exciting. So I'm putting that together. It was been kind of a unique experience because I'm used to teaching my new people that are fairly new into Angoras about giants because they're different, right? And but teaching judges, yeah. So I've been questioning some of the judges when I go up to their judging table the last couple of shows, and they've given me really good advice. So I'm excited. So if you have any advice for me on that too, send me a note because I'm kind of looking at it a new way. At first, it's like, what do they want to know? But then somebody told me, it's like, what do I want them to know? It's like, oh, yeah, there's some stuff. Yeah, and then to keep it short and sweet, right, to the point. And Matt Bishop, he did a really good video. It's on the internet. And Matt, if you're listening, I'm going to copy a lot of your stuff. I mean, I can't do it any better than he did. He and his wife has been doing giant Angoras since they were youngsters, and they got married, and they're still doing them. And they, Ashley's family used to have a mill. They did a lot of my milling for my Sinfully soft yarn at one times, and I miss them. They're awesome people. But Matt, yeah, he did a really good job. So if you're on YouTube, look it up. I might even put a link in this video because it's really good. Oh, it's backwards. I know it is. Good Lord. That was one of the tasks I was going to try to do this weekend, is figure out how to make sure when I record that it's recording the right way. And I think I figured it out. I just haven't tested it yet. So it's still backwards. Anyway, a new program I'm putting together is on pricing Angora handspun yarns with confidence. I know I'm going to get to you. Yeah, I have this one and a little black guy down here. They're babies. I had to separate them. teenagers. Yeah, so that's going to be exciting. That's going to be coming up, I'd say within a month, because I've got the meat done. I just need to sit down and record myself and put it in the format for everybody. So I'm pretty excited. For years, for a long, long, long time, I personally have struggled on how to price my handspun, especially the Angora yarn, appropriately, fairly, for not only myself, the rabbits, and my customers. Because it's a luxury fiber, and I have so much of it, I think I should just be able to give it away, right? And spinning, hand spinning, is one of my top reasons I really love my hobby. I mean, there's several reasons why I love my hobby. I love... Hi, Tammy. There's another Tammy. She says, good morning. Morning, Tammy. Several reasons why I love my hobby. One is hand spinning. It's my zen time. I just spin. And I just spin willy-nilly, usually just right off the rabbit. Not all the times, but sometimes it's not even carded. And I make beautiful yarn with it. That's a whole nother video in the making. But how to make hand spun yarn with my seconds and thirds, things that I normally don't put in my Sinfully soft yarn line, I don't waste anything. So it still comes out awesome. And so, yeah, my other top thing is playing with baby bunnies. They're so cute. And then they grow up. These giants, they grow up so fast. So, holy cannoli. Hand spinning and pricing your hand spun yarn with confidence. Oh, I'm saying it with confidence because I lack that. I don't know about you guys, but it's like all the advice I've heard for years, you guys, since I've been doing this is, oh, you can't make money with Angoras. You can't make money selling yarn. You can't make money doing this. And I'm like, gosh, the more I listen, I even watched a video, lovely lady, and she's teaching people to pay themselves like she's doing $10 an hour and don't overprice it. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, our time is very valuable. And what we make with our Angora hand-spun yarns is immaculate. It's a luxury fiber, and we should be charging for that. So yeah, I lectured enough. Don't you want to see me play with baby bunnies? Holy cow, I think I've lectured enough. Yep. Oh, and the other thing I need to do right away is start my breeding. Do you guys know that Angora? Oh my gosh. We have an Angora National show that's in front of my brain right now, scheduled in May in Reno. I'm really excited. And then the ARBA National, I got to say this right, the ARBA Convention. I always get that mixed up. Nationals Convention. Convention is all the rabbit breeds. The convention is a huge thing. They also travel around the country every year in the fall and have a huge show. It's all the breeds. There's sometimes 20,000 rabbits in one area. It's huge. It's a whole week and there's only one show. And guess where it's going to be this fall? Again, in Reno. So we have two of the biggest shows ever. Yeah, in Reno. The Angora Nationals, which will be with West Coast Classic in Reno in the spring, in May, and then the convention in October. So I got to breed. So I have a bunch of giants ready to go for convention. I'm just looking at the map. I'm slacking, you guys. If I breed, I'm going to shoot for the 25th, which is just a couple of days. I need to make sure everybody's sheared and ready to go. But there'll be 6 months on the date. I can still enter them as a junior at convention. Because one of my fun things when I first started, and not a lot of judges were familiar with giants, and I kept popping up with all these, right? And they'd have to get out their standard, and they'd have to look up because they look at their table writer, and I put up maybe a slew of these juniors at 5 or 6 months old, and they're huge. They're like 8, 9 pounds already, and they're like, they can't be juniors. And they look at me because at that time I was the only shower. I'm not the only shower anymore, which is cool. But they would look at me and I'm like, I nod, yes, they are juniors. So they'd get up their standard and look at what's the required weight for juniors. And yeah, they have to be, what is it, 4.75? So they made that, right? They're double that most of the time. Yeah. Yeah, Tammy, the video is coming on how to price your Angora handspun yarn with confidence. I'm jazzed. That's been a long time coming, and it's near and dear to my heart. I've got all the hard part done. I just need to get it formulated and do the video. So I'm thinking within the next month, easy, I can have it done. I shouldn't say easy, because this last video that I'm getting ready to publish later today, it's done. All I need to do is a few tweaks to the blog and hit the publish button. And I've been working on that all weekend. It's like I've got this fancy program and they make it easy. And I shouldn't say that I don't like it, because I do. It's fun. I get in there and my husband has to draw me out of the computer room. Are you going to eat? Are you going to breathe? I said, no, but I got to pee. So I get up and eat, pee, do my things, and I go right back to the computer. Because once you get into the mode and you're clicking on this and this and this and adding this, and then I'm getting more B-roll. I was able to get a bunch of great B-roll because I don't have very many English. And Betty, oh my gosh, she sent me a bunch of links to her blog and gave me permission to use a lot of her videos or her pictures. And I had this great picture of the English sitting on their travel cages at West Coast Classic last year. I think it was last year. And yeah, I even mentioned this in the video. I'm so boggled with these English Angoras because they sit pretty and they're all fluffed up and they sit them on top of a mat that's sitting on top of their travel cages. And the owner can just walk away. And those rabbits just sit there and yeah. they get all kinds of people gawking at them and just, oh my God, look at that. And they just like, yeah, we're special and we know it. And they just sit there. My giants would never do that. They'd be all over the place. And that's one reason I love my few English. I might be getting a few more because they're so cute. And the one word that I would say is zen. I mean, gosh, when I'm grooming and handling them, they are zen. They are not playful and rambunctious and full of themselves like my giants are. They're just zen. They're adorable. They're different. So watch my video later today. Yeah, so that's what I was doing all bloody weekend. So if I say it's going to take me a week to do a video, it'll probably take me 4 or 5. It's like, and then I think I can do this and do that. Oh, Tammy, quit yabbering. Let's play with some baby bunnies. And there's this little guy. Come here, mister. I think it's a guy. I'm going to put my little video up so you can see what I'm doing. My little phone here. Now, are you going to behave? Here we go. Miss Twinkle. She is an F1, a black, giant French cross. Her mom was a black, and her daddy was a giant. You've been in with your sibling too long. I got some cleaning up to do so you guys can see what not to do. Oh my God, look at that. Yeah, this is really good. Really, really good. Good Lord. He or she, I think it's a he. We'll do some cleaning up on their eyeballs there. Little crusty. And they were born on 2/22. No, wait a minute. That was when I did the eval. January, February, March. So they're 2 months old. 2.5 months old. How much do you weigh, mister? I have everything in here, but I don't have it just perfectly set up. Silly me. Yep, come here. And then we'll see if you're a boy or a girl, shall we? We'll weigh you first. Twinkle, black. Let's see who you are. Oh, no, don't do that. God, you guys are no lightweight. You are ready for your own digs, aren't you? 5 pounds today. Yep. Are you just going to sit there? Good. Now, my notes from last time, I have that they were a boy, both of them. So let's double check that. And then we'll start cleaning you up, shall we? Hi. Yep, you're a boy. You're a boy. So one of the first things I like to do is trim their bloody toenails, because that's going to hurt if I don't. I'll take out some of my stuff here. And I'm not going to trim them necessarily quite yet. I'll trim around their private area. And as I'm trimming her toenails, I'm checking to make sure there's no lighter colored toenails. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart. Was that too close? It's bleeding just a little bit. We'll keep an eye on that. Can we do this live? Holy cannoli. Well, in my little thing here, it's not bleeding very much, but I have this little, and I'm not usually this organized. I've even used baby powder, talcum powder, to help stop the bleeding. Yeah, it doesn't take very long. She wasn't bleeding very much anyway. I'll put that over here. I just don't want you to bleed on my sweatshirt, but it'll wash out. So far, all the toenails are nice and dark. According to the standard, they have to be the same. No little wonky stuff. And I have to admit, at a Twinkle, she has produced some of the most uniformed, beautifully colored rabbits of anybody. It would be a shockaroo if I had any white toenails from her. Yes. Can we clean up your underside? Got some dirty stuff going on here, and I see you have some eye crusties, so I'm going to show you how to do that too. Yeah, you're a little boy. You're a little boy. Whenever I'm trimming down in these little delicate areas, you always want to make sure you know exactly where your blades are. And I don't know if you can tell from way up there, but if I put my scissors in and I see where the end is, that helps. And don't pull, because if you pull, you're more than likely going to pull that skin up. And we got plenty of time. So we just take our time. The little bunny will be cleaner, more comfortable, because they can't help how much wool they produce. They just do it. And when they're babies and when they get older, sometimes it's hard to clean all the way down here. So this is very, very necessary. And I don't shy about going a little up on their bellies a little bit here too. They don't need that. You're such a good boy. Always take your time. You seem to have all your boy parts, and we don't want you to lose those. Huh. So all these little dirty bits, I always throw them away. I don't keep them. I have I'm getting pretty darn close. I'm trying to put my finger on top of some sensitive areas so I don't accidentally trim that. Hi. I'm going up on the bottom side of his tail. He doesn't need all of that. And sometimes I get up in the inside of the legs. It just depends on how messy they are. Now these guys, since Mom lives in F1, and who was your daddy? Oh, Ravishing. He's one of my favorite F2 boys. You guys are technically an F2. Or would it be an F3? I don't know. I'd have to look at my notes. But one thing for certain is I would wait to show them is depending on how much giant furnishings they've got going on. Hi, baby. Yeah, we're going to clean up your eyeballs here in a minute. My favorite brand of scissors, any scissors will work. I bought these what are they called? God, it's so little. Gingher. They are embroidery scissors. Come back here. Stay away from my iPad. I don't know what it is, you guys. Not my iPad. And they're nice and pointy. They get into these little crannies, and they're nice and sharp. I very seldom need to have them sharpened. And but they're very expensive. They're like $30. So Fiskars, just your regular sewing little shear scissors will work too. The biggest thing is make sure they're sharp. Yep. Nice sharp scissors. That's the biggest thing. Hi, baby. You're being kind of good. Kind of. This will help you feel better. I'm going to get rid of all these little mats back here. Making sure I don't get the bunny skin. I'm pulling ever so gently, just pulling the little mat away without pulling up the skin, because on a black rabbit, it's easier to tell because he has a pink skin and black wool. But sometimes on those lighter colored rabbits, it's really hard to tell. I've seen people mention that the sewing ripper for those seamstresses out there work really well for these little tight places. I tried it the other day and I had zero luck, but you might try that. I don't know. And you got something going on here too. At 10 weeks, they are eating very well on their own. They don't need mom anymore. And they are ready for their own digs, their own little spaces. And I think that's what happened to his eyeball, because I had him in this travel carrier with the two siblings together this morning, and they were doing what little boys do and little rabbits do. And it's like, gosh. And when I'm brushing, I'm just brushing out some of the gunk here. I have got, it shows backwards. I apologize. Pink eye spray. And the thing I really love about this spray is you don't have to get right in the eyeball. It kind of sprays the whole side of the face, so you can't miss. And it's kind of cold. And I'll do this 2 or 3 times a day. And I'll gently wipe up their breast. Yeah. Can I do the other one? I'm not seeing any infection, but I want to get it nice and clean, because that can turn into something ugly if we're not on top of it. The other thing that I use a lot, and this has been in my tub. Where are you going? Don't go anywhere. We might put this on here. We'll keep an eye on it, but it's terramycin. It's backwards. I'm really sorry, you guys. But you can get this at the feed store, and it only takes just a little tiny dab, about once a day. And what I do is I hold them, and I lift up on their little eyelid, and I put just a dab very so gently on the inside of their eyelid. And then when I put the eyelid back down on top of it, most of the goop kind of eases out, but you know that you've got some in there. But for the next couple of days, I'm going to just use this eye wash and see if that takes care of it. And if not, we'll use some of that. But I've never, ever had a weepy eye after I've done that. Sometimes, more times than not, I'd say 80% of the time, this stuff will take care of it. Dust or air conditioning. Hi, sweetheart. You're a sweet little boy, aren't you? Wiggly. 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 You're wiggly. This is some bluebirds he's got in the... I know, you've had enough today already, huh? Can I check your teeth? Because that's one thing I forgot to look at. Oh, good teeth. And a nice straight tail. Yes. And I got your weight down. And the other thing that you and everybody will get later today is Ivomax shot, because you're definitely old enough. I'm not seeing any mites or things like that, but we don't want it. Now, the other little guy is right behind me. Come here. Oh, yeah, you're pretty nice too. Holy cannoli. You're bigger than that other guy. On neither one of them am I seeing any giant furnishings. There's some wool there, but at this age, it should be pretty clear. Now, he does have the sideburns and the facial stuff, so he might grow into his furnishings. And he's got a beautiful belly. I love that. Nice white belly. Now let's double check and see if you are a boy. I don't know. Are you? Because in my notes I had that you were both boys. Oh, yep. You're a boy too. Shall we weigh you? He's like, no. I don't want any of this. I'm out of here. Nope. Nope. You're messing with my iPad, mister. I actually bought on the internet one of these little holders that will hold my iPad. Last week, I don't know if you guys caught it or not, but those boys, they kept going over there. And the second boy, there must have been smells from the previous one. God, you're 6 pounds. Yeah, I knew you were heavier, but a whole pound? What the flip? What? You big boy. Okay, you got the giant thing. You're the giant. You're the giant. You win the giant prize today. Get out of there. And I just, my other litter that has a bunch of, not a bunch, but 2 chestnuts, they have beautiful rings too, although he's got a more orangish tint. I'm loving that. And I just wish there was more up here. Are you going to do something more up here? I'd love to show you as a giant. If you get bigger, and I know you will. Now his body is really nice too. He's solid. There's no real good rise. I think both of you are fair. I'm going to say like a 7. Are you posed? Are you? Let's double check. The front of the feet, you cannot see what I'm doing. There's no way to show you. But the front of the feet will be even with the front of the little hip bone. And the front feet should be even with his eyeballs. Now he's laying out flat. Can you see that? Oh my God, he's flat. But he's big. Oh, yeah. We'll see what you do. You got a little bit going back here. Now he was the one that was being dominant. And earlier when I had the two boys in the same little carrier. Now I know why, because you are just bigger. You can't help it. And you don't have much for a mat back here. I think you were helping that other little black guy with his mats. That's what I think. Yeah, you're just being the pill. Now look how nice he is. He's being so... And he's flat. Oh my gosh. This is what I like in my chestnuts, is the nice white belly. And your legs aren't too shabby. They're a little wide, and they're just a little pointy, but not bad. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on that. No, there's the little tiny wool on the front feet. Very little, very little. You were a boy, right? We checked that. Yep. And nice straight tail. And you really don't need any cleaning up down here. You're pretty clean. We need to trim your toenails. Can I look at your teeth? Can I do that? Your teethers? Okay. It's good that they get used to that, because the judges are going to do it quite often. You got a little bit of poop here. We're going to brush that out. I'm going to separate it a little bit by hand first, and you don't need that there. Okay. Can I trim your toenails? You know that other litter that I evaluated last week? They're just overall the kings, I think. They are just doing... They were born right around the same time. That little toenail didn't need much trimming. Yep. You've got a little bit of wool on your front feet, but not as much as I like by this age for my giants. But we'll see what you do. And these guys are still hybrids, very much hybrids. And as boys, I don't really need any boys, so I'll probably either sell these guys, or the chestnut will probably... Oh, did I get that toenail? Nope. You just ticklish. They're not very sharp because I trimmed them several weeks ago. Oh. And the one thing I must say, though, you're not as high as those others. But the one thing that I do like is it's nice and smooth, right? There's no hippie things going on here. And the reason I say that is sometimes when you go across there, you can feel their hips and you kind of stop. But when you can just go nice, it's, yeah. And he's let me put my hand on his head. He lifts it. What are you doing? I've had some teenagers that refuse to let me do that. It's a fight to try to pose him. Okay, you're done. You're done. That was pretty easy. Now for Sexy Dark Night. Come here, baby. It's your turn. Oh, all I did to him earlier this morning was blow him out a little bit. And he's got very long wool. This is his baby coat. When were you born, by the way? Last July. So you're about 8 months old. And I've kept this coat way too long. Way too long. And who was your parents? Oh, Alluring. She's one of my F2 giants. She's one of my favorite. Oh, I keep saying that. I got too many favorites. Oh, it's so hard. And then Pumpkin Spice. He's my multi-grand champion French fawn boy. He made date night. Yeah, he did. He's a gorgeous boy. He's got so many legs. Now look at all this. Oh my gosh. I'm not even going to weigh you, so I'm going to get that out of the way. I'm going to get my little tubs out. And we're going to start shearing you. You're going to get naked today. Yes, you are. I got 3 tubs. One for my prime, right over here. And I've done this years ago. And it's, sorry, it's backwards again. I'm going to fix that, I promise. But there's 3 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So anything between 3 and 5 inches. This is the cut end. That tells me that it's prime wool. If it's more than 5 inches, that gets sold for hand spinners only. And baby wool, which this is baby wool, so it'll be for hand spinners, the prime that I save. And anything from 1 to just under 3 inches. So from the cut end, if it's between 1 and just under 3 inches, that's considered seconds. And anything under 1 inch is automatically thirds. So I have my 3 tubs. And these tubs I just got at the dollar store. They work really great. And I've got one for prime, my seconds, and my thirds. Hi, baby. You're such a sweet thing. Now he's got I can't wait to get him naked. This is one of the main reasons I kept him is his body type. Some of you might know that giants have struggled for quite a while on good body type. And I've been increasing that slowly but surely without crossing with some really good French Angoras over the years. And when I first decided to do the COD for my chestnuts, I was able to get a couple of really nice French Angoras from Betty Chu. And they did wonders for not only helping with the body type, but help with the color saturation, because we needed that horribly. Now, Sexy Dark Night, 7 months old. Now look at these furnishings. I don't know if you can see that. Not very much. He would pass for French. So if I've shown him as a French. French can have a little bit of tassels, which is okay. And we'll turn you upside down here in a minute. But this wool is just gorgeous. Now, what we're going to do is tip you upside down and see what we got going down here, because I didn't even do that this morning. Now, these little loosey-gooseys, I'm calling loosey-gooseys, stuff he's molting are long. Oh, yeah, you got some stuff. Okay. He's like, what are you doing? His toenails aren't that bad. So, I'm going to trim his toenails later because I trimmed them up not too long ago. Some of you might have watched this video that I teach. It's kind of my secret weapon. Now you got your toenails stuck in your wool, honey pot. I got it there you go. I call it my secret weapon. And you guys can kind of see, about a month. Has it been a month? I'd have to look at my records. A month ago, I sheared his belly. And I didn't have time to shear everything. And this is what I call my pre-show day, 2 months before a big show day haircut looks like. Because when I do that, I trim their genital areas on the inside of their legs. And I usually follow the nipple line. I did a little more aggressive on him. And then right up to their armpits. And then I leave the dewlap. And then I go all the way down here. So their whole belly and genital area and the inside of their legs. And if they're just a wooler, I trim up their whole legs. But the reason I do that is before you go to a show, like West Coast Classic, let's use that for instance. He's not going. But if he was, we're going to pretend. Now see, there's some of this stuff that's kind of webby. On a purebred giant, he probably wouldn't molt like this, but he's got some other stuff in him. So he's forgiven. But what I would do, because there is an abrupt change in length from this to this, I would separate it by hands, because there's nothing to protect this wool here. When he moves, it's going to felt. But if he was going to go to a show, I would spend a lot of time on this ridge line, cleaning it up and brush it out. And when I brush it out, I'm probably going to take some wool with me, and that will all go in the seconds bucket. Now it's going to be my hand spinning. I know, sweetheart. So if you can pretend that he's a giant and he's grown out his wool a little bit, and it's going to be about 2 inches by the time show day gets here. And so this distinct ridge line will disappear. You really won't see that. So for show day, what you're going to have is a beautiful rabbit. The judge is going to turn him upside down. You're going to have the genital area all cleaned up. And you're going to have these sides cleaned up. I know, sweetheart. He's like, will you just shear me already? I'm ready to get naked. He's molting. He's past getting ready. Oh, gosh. That's prime. I'm going to put that over there. That is beautiful stuff. Holy cannoli. Yeah, so anyway, I call that my secret pre-show day haircut. I did this on my CODs. I think I've mentioned it before. But I farmed out 12 really good giants across the country because I just had way too many. And I called them my foster kids. So the new parents, they took care of the shearing. But we had a specific date to shear on. So one of the tricks to the COD that I was always told is all your show animals must be little mirrors of each other. So even though these animals were going to different locations throughout the country, there's different weather patterns, different feeds, different owners, just so many things that are different. But the one thing we could control on the timing of when we sheared. So we all sheared our giants within a week, the same time. And then a few months later, it was 2 months before convention, we did this. I told everybody to shear their bellies. And yeah. And guess what, you guys? They passed with flying colors. Because if the judge is looking at 2 inches of wool down here on their belly, because giants, they do that a lot. But you're not a giant, not yet, baby. This is so soft. And you got such a mess going on. I know, sweetheart. I could hand separate this and brush it out. And I might even try to pluck some, but he's obviously not thrilled about that idea. If I was to pluck it, I would just take a little bit at a time. Some of this that has already released. All this is going in my seconds. Because that's going to be beautiful yarn later. Yep. So I'm going to get these sides and stuff cleaned up. I'm going to leave his belly because that can continue to grow. That's not going to hurt anything. They can just leave that. I'm just going to continue taking some of this out because he's molding. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time grooming. I could clip all this out. But we're just going to take our time little by little. We're just, yeah, as long as he's not uncomfortable. And then, once I'm all done with these longer pieces on the sides, then I'll probably clean up his feet, get that all, I'll take a scissors to that. Then I'll save the top side, the gold, the stuff that's not matted at all. I'll save that for the very last. And I'll probably put that up for sale for hand spinners. Because even though this is really lovely wool, it's his baby coat. So I don't want to put that in our Sinfully soft mill spun yarn. But this stuff that's kind of shorter and it's kind of webby, I'm going to love hand spinning that. And actually, because I have so much of it, my seconds, I have a huge tub. And I've been saving, I'm going to dye it. And then card it all up. I might even blend it with some of my wool that I've been saving. In my spare time. But we're going to do it. Because some of, not him, but on some of the rabbits, I have some longer wool that's been peed on. That goes in my to dye bucket. Hi, sweetheart. We're going to just turn you around. Can we do that? Do a little somersault? He's like, what are you doing? It's okay, baby. stuff. You're beautiful. He's like, nope. Some women and men, they like to share with the bunny on their laps. And I think that would probably be most efficient. Although, some of you might have heard me talk about, I just don't have much of a lap. I'm a wealthy girl. So the table method works really good for me. Now you got a little back here I want to clean up, but you're just obviously uncomfortable. So we're going to go with the flow. Yeah, we're going to go with the flow. You are just beautiful. I waited way too long. You guys don't do this. Our neighbors have some roosters. We haven't had roosters for neighbors. Beautiful. Beautiful. Staticky, but beautiful. That's why I keep some hand lotion on hand too. Yep. It's that time of year. You know, it's 11 o'clock. I yabbered and yabbered. I try to keep my lives less than an hour, but I haven't even started sharing you yet. Yeah. We'll start on you in a little bit. My hands probably smell funny, don't I? You don't have much for mats back here, so we'll just kind of leave that. They're a little bit stuffed back here, but they're not bad. So I am going to find a part. Where are you? And my garbage is right down here. I'm going to start sharing you. We're going to try to make a strip. Once I start sharing, it'll go pretty quick. I have just a few second cuts. And what I do is I try to point away and blow. I'm going to blow them into my garbage can. So all I'm left is with this beautiful stuff. And he's starting to grow another coat. He's never had a haircut. He's had numerous groomings, but this is going to be his first real haircut. He had his belly trimmed, but not the top side. Oh, that's beautiful fiber. Oh my goodness. And he's got guard hair too, but it's so soft. I am just going to leave that. Some of the older ones, the guard hair is a little bit too much for me. And I'm just holding his skin taut. I do about an inch or so square, and I just grab that all at once. There's just a very little second cuts in that. And that goes right in my prime. Now I'm getting to where it's kind of short. Hi, baby. He's like, what are you doing? I don't know if I like this or not. I'm just going to try to hold him underneath my arm here. Do another inch squared. Not very many second cuts in there, but that's a good boy. I'm going to try to coax him to put his feet out flat. Relax. You need to relax. This is so lovely. God, I love baby wool when it gets this long. Now his next coat will be perfect for my Sinfully soft yarn. Yeah, because this dark stuff is where his new coats are coming in. Do about another inch. Oh, aren't you beautiful? And if he gets impatient, I can put him back in his cage and I can fuel up on some more coffee. Another one of my favorite ways to harvest is with the scissors. I can show you a little bit on that too before I put them away. This way kind of goes so much faster. And I'm switching scissors. These are a little bit longer. I can do a snip, and these leave a ridge. Do another snip, pull the wool back. Now, honey pot, can I have you for just a minute? I pulled a skin taut, but not tight, because you don't want to. And I don't get any second cuts when I use the scissors, hardly at all. And I'm always careful that I know exactly where the scissors are. Usually by scissoring, I can do a little bit more than just an inch. And I can tell he's getting impatient. That kind of got long there. I've been busy, too busy talking. See, and this is another thing to be aware of. See this dark stuff? This is a new coat. So that's another reason I don't put that in my Sinfully Soft. I want one length of wool. Now, hand spinning, I can do a whole bunch with that. I have a lot more control. And see where this is dark and this is white? This is all one length of coat. These have two different lengths of coat. Yes, you do. So that's the other thing that I'll be breeding for is when I get them back into more of a giant coat. I want a nice synchronous coat where it's all the same length. So when I trim or shear, however I do it. Are you eating my mat? I've had this mat out here for the last several rabbits. It's probably not a good thing. It smells rabbity. And boys are sensitive to those smells. I've had boys and girls up here. That's why it's always good to have, I like having extra mats. I can just throw them in the wash along with my rabbit clothes and start fresh. Well, since he's kind of being good, I'm going to just keep going. This is kind of long up here too. He's like, what? What was that? Yep. Well, you guys, I'm going just to keep snipping away here. And, oh. I think he needs a break. He's getting impatient. Yep. So, Mr. Sexy Knight, Sexy Dark Knight, that's what we called you. You're going to take a break. We'll call it a day for a little bit. Not completely, because you're going to get naked today. I'll put him back in his cage. Ooh, okay. He's like, now, will you? And what I'll do is, because I've been shearing on him, before I leave him, I'm going to blow him out. That way there's not any stray hairs that the first thing he's going to do as soon as I turn my head, he's going to start licking himself. And stay off my iPad, mister.